Welcome to the final episode of season 6. I'm Lydia, and you are?
I'm Matt.
And this is You Don't Know Jack.
This is You Don't Know Jack. Season 6, episode 17 is going to be the final episode of season 6.
But don't worry, we'll be back in 2 weeks
Yep.
with the first episode of season 7.
So we always like to say this, and you guys know that who've joined us and listened to us. We generally take this hiatus in the summer because Lydia and I really like the summer, and with our friends and with Lydia with her husband and the rest of us, we like to do lots of different things outside. We like to travel a little bit, grow tomatoes.
Go get a 9 to 5.
Yep. That's right. Lydia's now not just the brains of this operation. She's now officially a working stiff.
I am a working stiff. Yeah, which is great.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, 3 weeks in, I'm enjoying it. So far, so good.
Part of local government now.
Local government, yeah.
And no, that's very exciting. And it's
work with our buddy Nathan Price.
I know, a friend of the show.
Yeah.
But the good thing is it's in a community that both Lydia and I live in, and Lydia's working to benefit our community, so we consider that a win.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I know. Well, it's
we're getting there.
And Lydia had worked her in a quasi-governmental role before this with the city of Cumberland, and now has moved on to municipal government, to county government.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
It is exciting. And I was the only one apparently who thought I wasn't going to get the job. So there you go.
Yeah, because I was like even I had heard something like, no, this is like, what are you talking about? Like,
I was like, I don't know. We'll have to see. And everybody was like, okay, you're an idiot. But so very happy.
No, that's very exciting news.
Yeah.
That's the biggest news that we have.
That's the biggest news we have over the summer, other than the fact that we are inundated with tomatoes.
Yes.
But
I'm going to do my part tonight, taking some with me.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Got some a couple weeks ago. Delicious.
Yeah. So we've got tons of tomatoes. I think we've gotten all the rain we could possibly stand.
Yeah, to a guy who's dealing with a roof issue on on a property. Yeah.
I know. And I was like, oh, no. But yeah.
It never rains here in August. For those who aren't, I'm assuming most people that listen are at least familiar with where Lydia and I are here in Mountain, Maryland. The last couple of years, we've had no rain. I mean, 2 years ago, remember, it was straight drought.
Yeah, and then last year, we got no rain in August, and everything kind of shriveled up, and it was over.
Now it rains every day.
Now it rains every day, and, as a garden person, fantasc.
As a guy with a roof problem, not fantastic.
So good. But it's good for my sauce collection.
I feel like, in the immortal words of Al Bundy, when it's raining every day, I'm like, what, slow day, God? I mean, is there no one else? Is there nobody else?
Well, Tim last night was like, man, I had no idea these small clouds held so much rain.
Yeah.
I mean, it was intense last night. We had a nice little gully washer.
But that's the exciting news. So again.
Exciting news. And also season 7. We've got to talk about that. We've been, and we say this at the end of every episode, if you found us, great. You've got 16 previous episodes to listen to and 5 previous seasons. So, season 7, I think we found our new Jack.
Yeah, we're on the hunt for
the newest Jack. So, every year we change the Jack on the logo. So, check that out. Be on the lookout for that.
Yep. And, we'll be back in 2 weeks and we'll kind of get the season started. As you guys know, we tend to be more robust in the fall because more focused in the fall and winter, especially in the winter because we got nothing else.
This is true.
But no, we're looking forward to it. And it's different seasons of sports. We tend to get really, we're sports centered, but not completely sports. But in the fall, there's just so much compaction. There's so much sports going on because you have, the baseball playoffs. You have NBA ready to start, WNBA wrapping up, playoffs. You have NHL getting started. You have NFL. You have college football. It really just, so there's so much.
There's kind of a little bit of a dry spell in the summer, which is great.
That's why in baseball they call it the dog days.
Exactly.
Right?
The dog
days. It is the dog days of summer.
Absolutely.
But I love the dog days.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to kick it off by talking about Penn State's frat cocaine ring because I did not have that on my bingo card, as I say.
Me either.
So 2 frat
couldn't happen to a greater group, though. I mean, I'm relishing it.
I mean, they have really great nicknames for this whole thing. Like the Nittany lines.
The Pablo Plejka bar.
Pablo Plejka bar is also very good. I mean, it is just, it is ridiculous that this could have happened at all. But, it couldn't have happened to 2 nights or pledge.
Right.
Frat house. So 2 frat houses were running an organized drug operation. 14 people were charged. 1 defendant is literally somebody's dad.
I did one of my favorite memes, and I'm not making light of this, but it was like, hey, at least they weren't raping kids this time. It's like, okay, well, now they're just slinging coke, but I guess we're trending the right way.
Yeah, kids are selling drugs, so it's to pledge, you had to be selling drugs, so it was Basically 14 were charged, 13 are former or current students. And then the one father is for tampering and hiding a safe with drugs and cash. So the dad had the drugs and cash.
Or the dad found out it was coming down and was trying to hide it for the benefit of his son, I'm guessing.
Right. And so it's two people, Agostino Abatello and Thomas Robinson. They did regular supply runs to Philly and New York City. The pledges were used as drug packaging labor.
Yeah.
And the AG called it indoctrination. Thomas Robinson thought his arrest was a prank. It was not a prank. And the other guy was at large, but then surrendered on Tuesday after no showing to his Monday arraignment.
I mean, hey, they do love a good whiteout in Penn State.
So, very true.
As somebody said, it gives a new meaning to a whiteout.
So Delta Epsilon is suspended, and Sigma Chi was already not recognized as a fraternity on campus. So it's not a possession story, which I think people are like, oh, these kids had drugs.
College kids will be college kids.
No, this is a trafficking story, and it was an upper level organized crime. This is like RICO.
Yeah.
And it's like you're serving like 15 years minimum.
For those of you who don't know, RICO is a federal statute. It's part of a continuing criminal enterprise. Mm-hmm. And if you're tied to that if it is a criminal enterprise and you are related to it in some form or fashion, it gives the government the ability to extend and charge people and be part of a RICO case.
And it's
and if you benefit from it. So even if you weren't like selling the drugs, but you're a member of the fraternity who's getting the money for the benefit of it, you could arguably charge. It's called a RICO predicate, and it's a way for the government to.
And they're going for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the PAAG is really going for it because they're just like, look, we can't have this happening on college campuses. Number one. Number two, if you were a college kid that all you wanted to do was pledge, and someone said, hey, you need to sell a brick of cocaine or package this brick of cocaine and cut it with this, whatever. I would be leaving that fraternity like immediately.
Usually cut it with like baby formula, or baby like a laxative,
and a baby laxative usually.
Yeah, so you cut it. And you got to cut it 1-to-1, and but you really got. So I've been told.
So you've been told allegedly. Allegedly, that's what you need to do. But I mean, Penn State has had a really rough go of it.
It couldn't happen to a better bunch of people. I mean, so listen. It is I
did hear Keegan Michael Key bump for, because he's a famous alumnus. But I'm just like, how do you not know this is happening on your own college campus? Like, they seem to be pretty brazen and blatant about it. And the fact that, like, they were just like, well, we have other fish to fry, maybe? I don't know.
But it's one thing. And the guy, they weren't selling, eighth of an ounce of weed.
No,
they're selling coke.
They're selling cocaine. Yeah. It's insanity to me, and it's also I think
it's a lot of entitlement. I think it's a lot of.
I'd hate to be their PR department.
Yeah. But it's just like, man, it's like, talk about thinking the Al Bundy quote, slow day guy. I mean, Penn State's just like one scandal after the next.
It's not, as this came out and I was like, this has to be a joke, right? And then it's like, no. And then it's like, oh, at first I thought, oh, just a bunch of frat houses got caught with coke, whatever, and then I was like,
not exactly news.
Wait. Right. And then it was like, no, this is like they were distributing, and then the pledges had to do all this stuff and all that kind of, and I'm like, holy crap, this is a classic RICO case.
Yes.
And I'm just like, okay, so this is trafficking, like total trafficking on college campuses, and I don't know. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's upper administration that's involved because who knows who is buying the coke from these kids.
Here's what I'm, what I'm betting is happening. I'm betting it pretty much most major college campuses. Every college president is calling the head of their internal police force, securities and stuff, deans of student affairs saying, hey, we're going to check, and we're going to check real close that we don't have this problem, right? Because I'm sure it is a stunning wake-up call for academia, which I'm a huge proponent of.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a big proponent. I do not want to declare war on academia. No, but I'm saying like this is one. If I was a general counsel, or a lot of times they call them vice presidents of legal affairs at colleges, like I would have walked into my boss, the president, and said, "Listen, this is an opportunity. We really need to get out in front of this here and make sure What's our messaging to students? What's our message? Like, hey, I'm calling every fraternity and sorority leadership, their leadership in. We're having a meeting and saying, hey, this crap doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
University of Maryland has where my daughter goes and my niece goes, has a very big Greek life. My niece going to live in a sorority house this year. Like, I'd be calling the heads of all those and say, not here.
Right.
Understand me. And if I find out it's happening here, every one of the members of this fraternity or sorority are expelled. And I will end Greek life on campus as we know it. That's the reason why great places like Notre Dame, there is no Greek life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
because it can be problematic.
It can be.
I just think that Penn State has done a terrible job of getting out ahead of the story. They do a terrible job of getting out ahead of every story.
Well,
I understand, but what I'm saying is, like, there's been zero follow up, and everything you've heard is just from investigations and everything else. And now it is like off to the races. Now, if I was a parent who was spending money for my kid to go to Penn State, I'd be really considering maybe we're not going.
By the way, the most expensive out-of-state land grant university tuition in the United States? Penn State. Yeah. And guess where Penn State?
Be that expensive. And guess where all that cocaine?
I know.
Going.
Guess where a lot of Penn State students come from? New York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
And so you got moms and dads in New York and New Jersey. Hey, it's and they like it because it's a big university setting. It's in a small town.
Yep.
It's close enough to drive to.
Yep.
And they're
clearly because they're bringing drugs in.
But they're going to sit there and think, hey, maybe this wasn't. And like, by the way, in state, you're sending lots of kids from Philly.
Yep.
And from Pittsburgh. But a lot of Pittsburgh kids are going to get scooped up by Pitt.
Yeah.
But don't forget, this is the Pennsylvania State University. It is the flagship university of the state of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Remember, there's Penn State Altoona, all the other the Penn State satellites. So this really, hey, if I'm the governor, who wants to be president, the current president at Penn State better not be too comfortable.
No, I don't think. I think anything you have to step down.
And I think though there's going to be a tremendous amount of blowback for this. And if I was Josh Shapiro, I wouldn't love it. But I'm telling you what my message would be. If I was the vice president of legal affairs at the University of Maryland, I'd be like, here's what we got to do. You got to get out in front of this.
Yeah. And it might be like, okay, well, we're revamping Greek life. We're also going to be like, oh, we're doing spot checks and we're coming in and we're making sure that this doesn't happen. And
like, setting up anonymous tip lines like, hey, if you're a pledge and something's something seems amiss.
Hazing even. Like the sororities and fraternities have always been in the news for hazing.
Right.
And this is a part of their hazing process. Oh, you've got to cut this cocaine or whatever. And if I was a pledge, I would be like, is this really cocaine or is this a joke?
It's one thing to make somebody shotgun a beer. It's another thing. And again, I understand we've had people die of alcohol poisoning. I'm not making light of that.
Yeah.
And I think they have addressed that at Greek life in a lot of places. I think Greek life, I was not part of Greek life in my university experiences, but I think it has
into Greek life.
Well, you're the real Greek life. But I'm talking about the college Greek life.
I understand.
But I think what Greek life is modeled after, and there is about family. It's about that. It's that fellowship, that group of friends.
Especially if you don't come from a background that has that as a good stable base, then that's really good for your social development. And I understand that it's a positive. And a lot of
good connections are made that way. Like, again, no pun intended, about connections. This is like the French connection, but or the Colombian connection. But no, and they make lifelong bonds. And hey, and men that were in fraternities or women that were in sororities, they're looking for that to get new people into business. And
absolutely, they're like, oh, this person has the same.
Pledge the same fraternity, part of the same sorority,
same ethic, morals, whatever. So it's sort of like, oh, they align with this, that, and the other. I think that it's important, but I don't think it should not be as unregulated as it is. And I think that there needs to be a little bit more. And maybe that's, the people that are in charge of Greek life and on a national scale kind of come out with, they get ahead of it and say, look, we understand that this is an important social aspect. Right. However, we can't have any of this tomfoolery happening in the background. So let's just we're going to redo our rules and regulations and charters and stuff like that.
And I think what we're seeing though, and I from firsthand experience is for instance, my daughter, Rory, shout out to Rory, is going to be at the University of Maryland. It's her third year. And she is the president of her fraternity, it's called, because it's men and women, but it's a politically driven one. They have now listen, they have social events and that's cool. but they don't have like a Greek house,
Right.
you know, and they have speakers lined up to come in, and it does create fidelity and camaraderie and a familial kind of, acceptance.
Yes.
But it is looked at more as a like, if she's looking for internships, they're like, oh, they like it when they see that because you're a leader, right?
Yeah, and maybe it should move more towards that than, hey, you've got a house on campus that you can live in, and
it's like a party. And I'm sitting there saying, like, I think if I was the University of Maryland president, I think part of the things in order to maintain a house on Maryland, what's called Fraternity Row, is I want to know what public benefit you're going to bring, like what charity you're supporting, and not only what you're doing, then you got to tell me how you're doing it, and I want to see the results. And again, I'm not trying to say
Frostburg State has a Greek life, and they are philanthropic by nature. They're I think a lot of their charters are that you have to give back to the local community in a project-based kind of a way.
But I think not just having them say that to me, like on a piece of paper, I think it's part of this is an opportunity to say, okay, now we're going to have check-ins. Like I want to see what hey, if you said you guys are going to help food insecurity in Western Maryland. Okay, in 60 days, and every 60 days, I want to sit there and talk. Okay, what did you do? How did you? No, hey,
or what's planned?
Right. We were in the fundraising course. We raised $7,000. Our next thing is to buy X so we can give. Okay, great. You guys got a plan going. Hey, when you donate this stuff, how about some pictures? You know, that can benefit us all on social media and the newspapers and the like. I think there's an opportunity.
Yeah, I do too, and it also could create some jobs for people that need them.
Yeah.
You know, on a state level. I mean, I think that could be like, okay, look, we want the kids to have a little bit of independence. Do we want them to start drug rings?
No,
but we do want them to have the benefit of having that social structure if they choose, if they need to do that.
And I think, again, I am not here saying let's abolish Greek life. I'm here saying this is a chance for us to take another look at Greek life.
Let's maybe do it a little bit better.
Right, because by the way, I think colleges got serious in the last 10 years about the hazing. And because really what the hazing has been is forcing you to drink too much, okay? And we've had kids die. Because, like, listen, okay, making guys dress up in cheerleading uniforms, okay, that's fun and games. Nobody's getting hurt. Right, okay, or whatever, you're making somebody do something stupid, fine. Okay, that's funny. Forcing people to commit sex acts, not okay. Nope. Drinking to
anything
excess
that can cause physical harm is not
again
good.
Listen, making somebody, hey, you got a shotgun of beer, it's not going to kill you. Now maybe 10 of them might, okay, but no, I'm saying that there's fun, there can be hijinks, there can be giving somebody a hard time, okay, giving you a stupid nickname, right, like Flounder, Pinto, no, or whatever, okay,
that's fine,
that's all fun and games. But when we start hurting people, and now these kids have ruined their lives, or definitely put a big dent in their life.
Well, I mean, they're just like, well, I was told to do this. I didn't think I had another option. I'd highly think that. Now, they didn't say anything about weapons, but you would think that you have that much. I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand. I would think, like how you're protecting your supply, right? But also like the amount of brainwashing that had to happen that you wouldn't just go and tell somebody.
Right.
So I think that it'll be interesting how the court cases play out. We'll keep an eye on that and see like what the defenses might be. But my God, these 13 kids, their lives are totally over now.
Yeah.
Okay. That concludes the cocaine battles of Penn State.
Yeah.
All right.
And I told you I couldn't sleep because of prednisone. Yeah. That's the story.
Sure. We'll go with that. So something really exciting happened. A women's pro baseball league is back. It's the first time in 70 plus years that women are playing professional baseball. And
originally made famous during World War II and then memorialized by Tom Hanks and Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell and the like.
Gina
Davis.
Yep.
Where it was famously in the League of Their Own.
Yes.
A great baseball movie.
It's a great baseball movie. So the Women's Pro Baseball League launched August 1st, and it's the first professional women's baseball league since the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, which was which folded in 1954. Right. So it had a long run. So there are 4 teams right now. All games are at Robin Roberts Stadium in Springfield, Illinois, and they're all being streamed on ESPN Plus. So we can watch them, which is really fantastic. So if you watched A League of Their Own, like this is a really important kind of moment. So there are 4 teams: New York Heights, Boston Hunters, San Francisco Fireballs, and the Los Angeles Queens. And they're co-founded by Justine Siegel. She was the first woman to ever coach in the MLB. and the Oakland A's in 2015. And the number 1 draft pick was Kelsey Whitmore from the San Francisco Fireballs. She was a standout pitcher in USA Baseball and an outfielder. Monet Davis.
That from Little League World Series.
Yes, that name should sound familiar to everybody. So 2014 Little League World Series fame. She was drafted by the LA Queens at 24 years old, and it's full circle. Springfield, Illinois was chosen intentionally as because one of the first paid women's baseball games was played there on September 11th, 1875. Wow. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So my only concern is, no, I think it's great. And it's not a concern. It's, I think women's sports, because of the explosion of women's sports, are going to start running into some of the things like where, hey, am I playing softball or am I playing baseball? Where you because listen, other than the pitching and the size of the ball, everything all the fielding's the same, exactly, right? Yeah. So then do you start losing? Does that sort of? How do you do that? Those competing interests? Because I think the hardest thing, I think it would be very difficult to be a pitcher in both sports. I think you could play both sports as long as you're not the pitcher.
Right, I agree with that. But I think what they're doing, which I think is smart, is that they did a lot of research about how much people would be interested in a women's professional baseball league. And it tested at 19%, and the WNBA, when they did it, was 21%. Right. So they're not that far off. Right. I also like the fact that they're starting with 4 teams. Yes. They're playing them all in one location. Yep. It's 37 games, and then a playoff. Yeah. Right. So, and we can immediately watch it on ESPN. There's no fight to get it on. There's no fight to get exposure, right? Like the WNBA had to fight just to get a little bit of exposure. And I think the pandemic really shifted for them because they were in the NBA and the thing.
Well, and the big thing is what role will Major League Baseball play or not play in this, and will they help or not? Because what really helped the WNBA is the NBA's the NBA and the NBA men's players' commitment to see the WNBA not only survive but thrive. Yeah. And the WNBA, Adam Silver, and the players, and obviously, of course, in no small part, he passed away before that happened. Yeah. But Kobe Bryant was a huge champion of this, and the NBA, its support really helped the WNBA take that next.
Do you know
step.
What I think is interesting? You see MLB, but you have the whole Savannah Banana thing.
Yes.
The Savannah that whole organization has brought these women in to pitch.
That's and has
brought them into bat and play to give them exposure to their audience. The MLB is never going to do that.
No. I get the, but
not yet. Yeah. Not yet. Okay, because it's still early days. But what I liked about the whole Savannah Banana situation is that they have a built-in audience, and it's big. And they get a lot of kids and a lot of families. And they're saying like, okay, great. And they're totally embracing non-traditional players in the first place. And so now they're saying, okay, great. We're going to help this league out because listen, it's the first year. Yeah. Let's try to get them some exposure. These women haven't had the opportunity to play professionally. And so they're giving them opportunities.
Right. But what I'm saying, how the NBA helps, or the MLB helps is, hey, Yankees are playing the Dodgers in an interleague matchup, right? Yeah. And they're playing, which they did this year, right? They're playing like Saturday night. Yeah. Okay. Well, why not Saturday at 4? We play the New York and the LA women's team right in front
of that
them
game.
And the Bronx or in Chavez Ravine.
Yeah.
And so like that's how you can help them, right? Is like, so hey, even if the fan base comes in late and sees this happening, they catch the second half of the game. I think that just shows I think that's the things that Major League Baseball can do to help.
And I think that could possibly happen. I'm just excited that people like Monet Davis have the opportunity to actually pitch again and do it professionally and get paid to do it. So that is a really nice transition into Kinley Rasmus. Have you heard of her? She's a 12-year-old girl from Alabama who walked into Williamsport and tied Monet Davis to strikeout.
I saw her. No, I saw her pitching. Yep.
Yeah, so she wears a really big bow.
I was thinking of the name, and I was thinking.
Kinley Rasmus. Because she comes from a baseball family.
Colby Rasmus, and
exactly.
she's part of a baseball family. Yep.
Yeah, her dad.
I watched her play.
Yeah, her dad pitched. Her uncle Colby played for years.
Yep.
So she wears a big white bow in her hair, and and her whole thing is fear the bow. Okay, so she pitched a no-hitter and still lost. Yeah, because she got let down.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, Now you've got somebody who's a 12-year-old coming into the Little League World Series and pitching, and she sees Monet. She tied Monet Davis's strikeout record. Now Monet Davis is playing in the comeback of the women's professional baseball league. I think it's really great for girls especially to be like, oh, hey, here's a pathway now.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, I can pitch in the Little League World Series and that's it. I can go play softball if I wanted to, or, there's nothing else really.
Yep.
So I think it's really good.
Yeah. Again, my thought is the one the major or the women's professional baseball most benefits is pitching.
Yeah.
For girls that are pitchers.
Yeah.
Because just because you can pitch a baseball does not mean you can pitch a softball or vice versa. It is a completely
different. It's totally different biomechanics.
Now, the only thing I would say is this: if it was my daughter and there was a choice and she was going to be a pitcher of one, I have her throw softball because it's way better for your arm.
That's true.
Softball is natural to your arm. Baseball is not natural to your arm. That's why we see so many injuries in baseball.
Yeah.
But to pitchers, right? Because the way it does. So, I mean, from a physiological standpoint, which you know better than I do, softball is way more, is just better for your arm.
It is.
Like, you don't hear the great softball pitchers blowing out their UCLs, right?
No.
Or having Tommy John.
No.
Because it's a natural motion of your arm as opposed to an unnatural.
Well, it's also physics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're just releasing the ball at the right point to get, to get it there.
But so other than that, though, so, I mean, this might be a boondoggle for orthopedic surgeons, that we do
Tommy John.
Hey, you know what we know we do a ton of now, which we did not, and I learned about it because my niece, who's also at Maryland, did it twice. A lot, and it seemed, I thought it was counterintuitive. I thought because of flexibility that they wouldn't see as much. Lots of girls tear ACLs.
Oh, that's
lots of women in sports. It's really bad. Like it's
I hate to tell you this, but that's been well documented for the last 30 years.
I know, and I just until
you wouldn't know,
right? Like my daughter played sports, but wasn't like, and my niece did it both knees twice, like one in lacrosse and one in soccer, both in non-contact. It's that cut, that weird.
Yeah, because typically women have a little bit more hyperextension in their legs.
Yeah.
Especially in their knee joint. And also they're finding it's hormonally dependent.
Yeah.
So it depends on what your hormone levels are, the likelihood of injury.
Yeah, that's just...
Isn't that crazy?
I know. So I just gonna say, hopefully maybe their elbows are built better. Yeah, so that's it.
Maybe we won't do Tommy John's.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I'd like to not have every female pitcher lined up to Tommy John. It would be again a boondoggle for. When someone once asked me, I'm a lawyer by trade. Someone asked me when they were talking about, which is now much more culturally acceptable. Well, it should have always been, but still, it's part of the norm vernacular with gay marriage in America, right? And my joke to somebody was, man, I said, this whole thing smells like a boondoggle for domestic attorneys.
Absolutely.
I said, one of my
divorce
friends,
is divorce.
My friend's a gay man who recently passed away. He said, "You've not seen nothing till you see two men getting divorced, fighting over who owns that Chippendale." But yeah, so I think this. I hope this isn't a boondoggle for orthopedic surgery.
I don't think it's going to be.
But no, it's very exciting.
So I want to give Kinley a little bit of praise because she pitched a complete game shutout and lost, and so she did 6 innings, 1 hit, 8 strikeouts, 0 runs. I mean, she's just
it's amazing stuff,
incredible stuff, and I think that she's I think it's great. And now she's got a path. One other thing I want to say is there are 2 surviving women that played played in the original women's league during World War II, and they threw out the first pitch.
That's awesome.
So I think that they were so excited, and all the players were very oh my God, I can't. They were totally honored that they were there. And what I loved most is they mic'd them up, and you can hear them being, boy, she's throwing a heater today. They were excited to be there, and but they love baseball.
Yeah.
And I think that anybody who loves baseball, they don't care who's playing as long as it's good, you know?
I agree with you. So that's, hey, let's take just a brief tangent about, we've been talking a lot about women's sports.
Yeah.
We were talking about before we went on, I just want to mention, can people stop going to WNBA games and throwing sex toys onto the floor? I don't understand this. I do. Well, I don't. No, I don't. I should say
you don't. Okay. Well, I think it's.
You want to level set this, and I know we're going to talk about baseball, but I wanted to break away just while we're on women's sports to talk about this very briefly.
We can do a WNBA roundup that doesn't include sex toys, but
as we're promoting what's great about women's sports.
Yeah, here's what's
happening. I have
happening.
to touch on what's not great about
here's
women's
what's happening.
sports.
It's meant to be it's meant to be a dig at women and women's sports, and it's like meant to be embarrassing to them. Like, what, we're going to try to embarrass you on the field of play.
Right.
That would be like if somebody went to a women's hockey game and started throwing sex toys on the ice. But it's just meant to be a distraction.
Right.
And I don't think it's a good one. And I think a lot of it is against trans women in sports. And
I'm just lost at the thought of going to a sporting event that I hate.
Right. You're spending money
to go throw something, just to throw something on the court for my own political or religious message. I'm just lost on it. Like,
it's like here's the other thing that I think is hysterical. If you're super religious, you're ordering sex toys.
Right. Which is funny.
Number one.
I do find that funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's fun. No, that's funny to me.
So that's on your credit card or whatever, or you're physically going into a store, which I can't imagine these people physically going into a sex store.
Yeah, and just like why Grindr crashes every time the Republican has a national convention. Yeah, right.
Exactly. And then buying a ticket to a game, and then throwing But by the way, sex toys are not cheap.
No. So I've been told.
Throwing them on the court.
Yes.
It's like you're net negative.
Yeah. I mean,
you just lost so much money. And especially if they're still in their packaging.
Yeah. But by the way, and these things you could hurt somebody. I mean, they're not.
Well, yeah.
Some of them are a little heavy, and as I've been told. And I mean, so I'm just saying, like, I know we're going to talk about WNBA, but we're talking about all the things that are great about women's sports and about sports. And again,
it's sports are sports. And we've talked about this in the past. Every time we talk about women's sports or men's sports, it is, if you are a true sports fan, it doesn't matter what sex you are. You want to see a good game. You want to see good defense, offense, whatever. You want to see good hitting. You want to see good pitching, whatever the case may be. Fielding, all the skills that it takes to play that sport. That's what you want to see. Yeah. You want to see good. You just want to see the good of the sport, and that's it.
I have no trouble going to, if you go to a WNBA game and my team's playing against the other team, heckling the other team, saying, hey, you're a bum to whatever. That's what I'm supposed to say, right? Not throwing stuff. Now, again, I'm not talking about, let's not throw racial slurs, people, or slurs, but like, if Angel Reese is playing for the Dream and playing against a team that I like, and I'm like, Reese, you're a bum. I'm a lot. That's what I'm supposed to do.
You're supposed to be supportive of your team.
And you can give the other team a little
razzing.
Yeah, but I mean. Yeah. But you're not.
But at the end of the day, you're like, hey, I'm just happy I'm at a game. I'm at a game. I'm not staring at my phone. I'm not thinking about other things. It's a little bit of joy that we all have. It's an area where we're not supposed to be so divisive. And I think that the WNBA, who's always been very good at shutting this stupid stuff down and the stupid noise down, they're going to do it. The players aren't going to.
But we're going to have to. But because this is just sort of.
It's,
this is like, a lot of families of these things.
Yeah, a lot of they're supposed to be family focused.
Yeah,
you're doing the exact. Whoever came up with this, probably, I'm not going to say it, but who I think probably came up with it. But that's okay. So WNBA. Let's talk about the positives. Caitlin Clark is still making headlines. Liberty Dream and the Lynx are the teams to watch right now. Fever went 2-1 this week, and they beat Atlanta 95-91, and then they beat Toronto 101-95. Like these scores, by the way. I just want to keep.
Oh, they can fill it up, man.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're not 65-68. No. We're 101-95. Lost to Dallas 91-85. Last night they were at the New York Liberty, and I mean, they lost.
Do you want me to tell you what you notice about the level of in the WNBA? What I've noticed is, man, those women don't miss it wide open. Like they get that. If their feet are set on a 3-pointer, they're taking it. It's just like in the NBA, like those guys will tell you, man, if their feet are set and they rotate that ball around and a guy gets a jump shot, that's just easy money for those guys. Like they don't miss. No. Like in college men's, you'll see guys miss that wide open jump shot
all the time.
I'm not saying they don't ever miss in the NBA, but think about it. Man, like if LeBron's feet are set or Steph Curry's feet are set, man, that's Kevin Durant. If they're on flow when they just get that ball and no one's right in their face, they just bang that shot down. And that's what you see in the WNBA now that you probably didn't 10 years ago. And it's that level of play, right? If their feet are set, they have a shot. Now, they make great shots when they're contested, but I'm talking, man, that uncontested jump shot, people just start running the other way because they know that's just easy money.
Oh, exactly.
That's easy money.
So Clark had 5 technical fouls this season, including the clapping incident June 23rd. She didn't even physically touch anybody. She just clapped when this woman got a foul called on her. Alyssa Thomas was suspended for punching her in the throat on camera. We talked about that the last episode. And the WNBA upgraded to flagrant 2. So that's I guess that's good after the fact, but it didn't happen during. The league has still not rescinded the clapping technical, and the Fever is appealing, and it's pending. Something else that happened, Atlanta Dream scored 124 points on the LA Sparks. So it was 124 to 88. That's ridiculous. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Las Vegas Aces, they came back. They won over Connecticut. They lost to the Lynx, but they're always in it.
Yeah.
I will say Becky got kicked out of a game.
I did see that.
So like second quarter got kicked out of the game and like high-fived a fan on the way out or whatever. She's all fired up. This is becoming a normal thing for her to be kicked out of games. So, hey Becky, like, let's bring it back a little. Let's calm down.
Or that's just part of the game.
It is part of the game.
And you know what?
But she's got good coaching staff.
And here's the other thing she's thinking. She's thinking about she's thinking about the playoffs. She's thinking. Remember, she worked for Greg Popovich. I was going to say she's pushing buttons at the right time.
Yeah, she's popping off like Popovich.
But she's pushing buttons at the right time. For thinking strategically for down the, for down the road, and also then your players see you standing up for them. The referees know you're not going to put up because, by the way, we've said this on I think the last episode. One of the biggest drawbacks to the WNBA is the quality of their officiating.
Oh my God, it's terrible. It's still atrocious.
By the way, in compare it to the NBA officiating, which is very good. Yeah. Like those guys. And by the way, the NBA officials know when to let them play and when like, hey,
let me tell you that whole Knicks series. That was a beautiful way of officiating the game. They let them play, and then
and it's like one of those ones say, hey fellas, this gets out of hand. We'll get control of this game.
It was a masterclass, and I was like, if you're a WNBA, we've said this a million times. NBA refs need to go in and work with WNBA refs.
You know what I can tell you about the NBA finals and officiating? Nothing. You know why?
Exactly, because nothing happened.
Because it wasn't. They were not a fact. The best officiating is the ones you don't notice.
Exactly.
When you see a call, you're like, okay, that makes sense. It doesn't. No one's up in arms about it.
Yeah. There was a couple calls I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, but generally, it was just a beautifully officiated.
Throughout the whole series, like there's a couple things I could have complained about. Yeah. I mean, that's nothing. So Atlanta Dream is like kind of a like an undercurrent. They might come through. They are like maybe a wild card, I would say. Because they're 124 points. They're pretty fired up by that, I would imagine. And Portland Fire is
this is their first year.
First year. Expansion teams are supposed to lose, and they're not losing. So it's a really interesting season. It's also first year that we've had more teams. Yes. So I think it's a good season so far. I wish the officiating was better and people stopped throwing dildos on the court. But other than that, it is what it is.
I'm still struggle with that one, man. I do like, man. I'm a pretty laid back kind of guy at 48 and pretty woke to the world. I just don't understand. Like that's what you're gonna throw, like. Yeah, and I just don't understand. Like, listen, I'm here to spend money at appropriate things and stuff like that. But let me get this straight. I hate
buy popcorn and pretzels.
I hate the WNBA. I hate everything it stands for. So I'm gonna buy a ticket. I can't be in the cheap seats because I gotta get this damn sex toy. I gotta get it in there. So I gotta buy like a good seat, and then I'm gonna buy a sex toy and spend like $100 on a sex toy.
Yeah,
to throw this thing in there.
They're not t-shirt cannoning.
Yeah, and by the way, it's also summertime. Like, where am I hiding this thing?
You have to go through security.
Yeah, like, it's made of silicone, so I guess it doesn't set off.
Well, unless they're going through bags now, and I'd be like, oh my God, that's what they're going to have to do.
Like, wear jeans, like tape it to my leg. I mean, like if I'm going to sneak something in, I'm sneaking in like a, little something to mix into my beer or to my Coke or something. You can't have
anything that you could potentially throw under the court. So maybe they're being like, oh, this is a projectile.
But I'm trying to think like how this is getting in. But every time I go to a baseball game, if I buy a beer, they take the top off the thing. They're worried about me throwing a beer bottle. But they take but I can get a sex toy.
Hey, maybe this is our $1 million idea.
Maybe I take the sex toy, but I hollow it out, and that's where I pour beer into.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to use it for...
Except when I'm drinking out of it, it could look awkward.
Listen, all I know is that this is backfiring, like, so much for these people.
I just
can't
because
now
with this one.
There's like a paper trail of you buying tickets, going, and then throwing. Like,
and buying
and throwing.
And buying sex toys.
Buying sex toys.
Yeah. Nothing says family values like... a couple $100 spent at your local sex store.
Oh my God! I mean, they are supporting a local economy.
Hey, there you go.
All right, so the Red Sox and the O's went on a post-All-Star season run, which was
Yours,
very
Red Sox,
exciting.
in reality. The Red Sox went from lifeless to a runaway, probably not quite clinched, but a runaway. They're going to the playoffs.
They're going to the wild card spot for sure. So, that was very, very exciting. They went on a 9-game winning streak.
But weren't they overall? Didn't they go like 32-5, something like that?
Yep,
30-5. It was something crazy.
It was really ridiculous, and I was. I have to say, as a Red Sox fan who totally written the season off, this was really exciting to see. And the way they were playing was like, oh my God, they're really scrappy. And they like, any mistake you make, we're going to take advantage of it and we're going to run. This is what I love about this team so far is they're very, like I said, they're very scrappy, but they're also running so hard to first base. They're not like, they are not lagging like, I'm going to get it out.
No.
Because they're like, this guy could cause an error.
And then we take advantage of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, they are running like crazy. They're stealing bases. They are taking every opportunity that's handed to them.
And even with the injuries to Garrett Crochet, the pitching stat's been great, though. That's also.
And that's the other thing, too. It's like, okay, Crochet's out, but like, all right, who do we have that can like kind of fill these things? We did take one of your guys, but he hasn't really been helpful.
Listen, so
Adley
Rutschman traded to the Red Sox. Rutschman was drafted to be, and was sort of the beginning of the rebuild of the Orioles.
And he was supposed to be like a real cornerstone
of the franchise.
Baltimore,
but here's what I'll tell you. First off, if by most of the trade metrics, people think the Orioles got a very good return from the Red Sox. They got 2 of their top 5 pitching prospects.
Yeah.
They got an outfield prospect. They got a catcher back as well.
Yeah, Carlos.
Yeah, and the Red Sox get Rutschman for the end of this year and next. And here's what I'll say about Rutschman. Does he catch a good game? Yes. But listen, as a hitter, he's a career 255 hitter with 70 homers. He's a singles hitter. And he's been on the IL 5 times since the start of last year. And since he's played for the Red Sox, I think he's batting under 200 with a 1 home run.
Yeah, he's not doing great. But here's what I like about Boston is that they're still winning despite that.
Yeah, I think, listen, I thought the trade benefited both teams. I know there were Oriole fans disappointed, but listen, they talked to Rutschman apparently during the spring training. The Orioles have signed multiple guys to long-term deals. Yeah. Rutschman's, listen, if you have Scott Boras as your agent, this is what he does. And listen, he will make you money. But if your franchises and saying, hey, I'm going to let him walk for nothing versus I can get a king's ransom in a trade. And again, prospects are prospects and they are what they are, and what they turn out to be, we don't know. But, people might look back on this in 3 or 4 years and say, holy cow, this really led to the Orioles' ultimate renaissance. Or they could say,
or it petered out.
Or they could say to the Red Sox when they're short on pitching in 3 years, man, the Red Sox gave away the store and Rutschman didn't live up to the hype. Or they win a World Series this year or next, and they're going to say, boy, that trade was worth it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think, it's hard. I mean, it's all prospecting, right? So you're just going to say like, look, okay, we think this might happen. We're not so sure. We're taking a calculated risk and hopefully it works out. But the team that's playing now for the Red Sox is, I think, good. And if they keep it up and they've got a fire in their bellies.
They do.
It's nice to see as a fan who was like, I'm not even going to tune in. This is so painful to watch. And then also for the O's, you guys are heating up.
Orioles are a game out of the wild card right now. And now the AL East is very mediocre. The AL, is very mediocre. But here's what I think. If I'm a betting person, well, clearly we know 2 of the wild cards are going to be out of the AL East. Yeah. The Yankees, Red Sox, and Rays, one's going to win, the other 2. I'm not convinced that you're not going to see the AL Beast, the AL East, sweep the wild card, where it's either the Orioles or Toronto. I mean, both have scuffled a bit this year, but they're both right in it.
I mean, you're 62.
Yeah. I mean, as of this morning, we were 1 game out of. Now it's wide open, but I'm just simply saying. Here's what I'll tell you: if you look at the Orioles' schedule for the next week or so, they finish up with Tampa Bay, who they seem to have Tampa Bay's number. They've won 5 of the last 6. And then they go to the Cardinals, who are they're 500.
Good,
but then they play 6 in a row against the woeful A's and the woeful Rockies. The Orioles could easily win 9 of their next 11 games. If they go 9-2, the Orioles are going to be your third wild card team.
I'm excited about it. I mean, this is exactly why we're like, okay, dog days of summer, a drag, but it's been exciting. It's been exciting.
And talking about the Orioles and long-term contracts and agreements, I do have to give a shout out to the Orioles. I tell you what, that trade is been worth, signing's been worth every cent. The polar bear.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, 30 home runs, batting like 268, 30 homers. 80-some RBIs. He is the clear, unadulterated leader of that team.
He is.
Last night, he was Samuel Basayo hit a 2-run homer to tie the game in the 8th.
Yeah.
Who's the first one to meet him when he's coming in? It's the polar bear.
It's the polar bear.
Orioles are all wearing old-school stirrups yesterday.
Yeah.
Polar bear bought them all. This is Pete Alonso, and he is giving the Orioles what they have been lacking. By the way, the Orioles' best player, who has got something going on between the ears, Gunnar Henderson. You know who's been working with him the last week? Pete Alonso. So I mean, he's not just the on the field, but the leadership, those intangibles. Pete Alonso's been worth every cent.
I'm telling you that it is something. There's something, especially about baseball. You have a player that is super confident in other players' abilities. That's sometimes all you need to get out of your own head, and you just need to have something that it's a team, like stirrup pants, whatever the case may be. Like for the Red Sox, that 1 year everybody had a beard.
Right.
So it's like you've got these things that you can buy into, and then you okay, great, I can do it. And they haven't had that. I don't think they've had that since Ripken. To be fair.
But I'm sitting there watching. When I see how Alonso responds, who he most reminds me of is sort of like Bryce Harper.
Yep.
Because you and I saw him last year or the year before play. So Bryce Harper is one of the best players I've ever seen live. I saw him play against Manny Machado in Hagerstown when they were minor leagues. They both had hits, and I can tell you the ball sounds different off his bat. Even in Major League Baseball, the ball sounds different off Bryce Harper's bat.
It does.
But man, Alonso is just one of those kind of that fire. Now, Harper's real fire.
Yeah.
Tends to get thrown out. As active players, leads in ejections. He has been the victim of some terrible calls sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, still that leader that the guys look to, and I think Alonso, that's him. And
but I
think what we've seen though is you probably came in new contract, and he struggled a little bit in April. You feel that pressure, but I think after a couple months, he settled in and realized, man, these are young guys. I got to lead these guys. And he's done a nice job with it.
Yeah, I mean, and he decided to take that responsibility on himself, and I think that's great. And I ultimately think you need a person that's like an elder in that kind of group to set the tone. And I honestly don't think Baltimore's had that since Ripken. I think,
to have that true veteran leadership.
Yeah, you just need that.
Yeah.
You need that little bit of nurturing and that little bit of coaching that's not coming from a coaching staff position. I think that's genuine.
Right.
You have a genuine connection with your teammate.
Now, and they've had some quiet leaders in the past decade, like J.J. Hardy. I thought was a really good leader.
Yeah.
Adam Jones was the captain.
That's true,
definitely.
too.
Well, the captain though led by example. About the hustling, this and that.
Yeah.
But man, I'm telling you, and Adam Jones brought the pie. The Orioles would pie face each other with the shaving cream pie. But no, Alonso just that.
It's just the quiet stability that they need.
And it's been great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, but hey, we're right there. I still think the Orioles have underperformed. Pitching's been great. I think the hitters have just been sporadic and erratic. But no, I love it because we got 30, 40 games left, 35 games.
Yeah, 35 games.
I think we're at 130, so 32 games left.
And then we're in playoff season, which is our favorite time of year.
But it's going to be you're really through the dog days. Now it's a sprint. Now it's a sprint to the end of September.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
Yeah. And I think season 6 has been pretty spectacular.
I always enjoyed doing it. And so
Jack LaLanne is going to be retiring.
So the new Jack will be introduced. So what we're coming back with is we're going to come back with season 7, probably in 2 weeks. We'll probably start out with get the NFL preview going.
Yep.
Give you
Talk
guys
about Aaron Rodgers.
Give you guys my thoughts and plans about my big fantasy football draft came up. Lost in the finals last year, so we're
okay. All right. Yeah.
So the Cumberland Commandos, going to get back in there and see if we can get that chip again. We've had it before. We know what it's like to pop champagne bottles and celebrate. But we walked off the field a little short last year.
That's okay.
and you only took 25% of the kitty instead of that 75.
Oh, that must hurt. Yeah.
But we're back to the lab. We're gonna dissect it.
Good.
Back
to the drawing board.
We've moved on from 2025. We've moved on. We're in 2026. I'm gonna be in my hoodie. I'm in a hoodie now.
You're in a hoodie now.
I'm gonna cut the sleeves off of it.
Are you gonna Belichick?
Yeah, just kind of.
I have to say, I did see a photo of Belichick in Europe, and they did a zoom in on I think it was his left nipple, and it looked like he had a piercing.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just don't
somebody needs to step in there, man.
I just don't know. I mean,
the kids got to be horrified. All his kids.
Oh my god!
I mean, they just got to be.
I just don't understand it. I think should we do a well check on this man? Should we say should we write on a paper? Do you need help? Yes or no?
No, it was like so. I told Lydia before we started. I said, "Hey, I had to go to go to the doctors. I had to go to the doctors. I had an ear infection, and it's like, are you afraid to go home?" I'm like.
What?
I think for Bill Belichick needs to be out.
Yes, exactly.
By the way, we ask that question of every patient.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things because you're in. It's a safe space for us to make sure you're okay. You're safe.
Yeah, nobody gave you that ear infection.
But I think, somebody needs to ask Bill Belichick, is it okay? Are you safe to go home?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
When you go to the doctor, you should be like,
Bill, are you okay?
Are you okay? What's going on?
Do you feel
here?
safe at home, Bill?
Do you feel safe? Did you want this piercing, or were you forced to get this piercing?
Are you afraid she's gonna poison you at night?
Right,
Jordan.
Yeah,
but
no, I just think oh man,
it's weird.
It's super strange, and I feel bad that his legacy is being kind of tarnished by this strange May December relationship. Yeah, so I mean, 6 seasons is nothing to shake a stick at.
It's been a long, strange trip.
Of course, and we're going to continue it with season 7.
Season 7. So listen, that's a wrap for season 6. Lydia, if they just figured this out, that means we have 5 previous seasons and we have 17 episodes now this season.
Yep.
Where can they find us?
We are on iTunes, Stitcher, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Audible.
Love Audible.
Amazon Play, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Player FM.
We're everywhere.
We're pretty much everywhere you can find us.
Like us, send us a review.
Yep.
Follow. We certainly appreciate it.
Maybe make a prediction on who you think our next Jack might be.
You can, there you go. You can find us at on Twitter at JackYDK. You can find Lydia
at RTL Pod.
And you can find me at JMGGMPG.
Awesome. See you next season.
See you next season.